All right, boys and girls, now we're going to work on our writing workshop where we are in the process of developing and learning how to write a creative story or a creative narrative. And remember, that's just one way, one form of a narrative where you can write. And we are going to be making this story up, but first we need to learn some tools to use when we're writing the story. And one of the ways I wanted us to look at today was to choose words when we're writing that are very descriptive and help describe what's going on. And one of the ways we do that is by using something called sensory words. Sensory words tell about what you smell, see, hear, taste, and touch. And so I've made a list. If we were in class together, you would have been able to help me come up with words to describe that. But we're just going to go over these with you for now. So if we're talking about, this is the mouth, so this is the things that we can taste. And words that describe things we taste can be sweet, maybe like candy, or sour, like lemons, maybe bitter or spicy, like tacos sometimes are spicy, or bland, like rice, there's not a whole lot of flavor, or maybe burnt, where something is cooked too long. So those all describe the way things taste. Now let's talk about things that we can see. This is an eye, and these are things that we see. What are some words that describe what we see? Maybe this word shining or big, something is round or dirty, small or clean. Those are all words to describe what we're seeing when we think about something. And then over here, this is a great ear. I don't know if you notice how great that ear is looking, but these are things that describe what we hear, like that thing dropping, the pointer dropping. Anyway, we might describe things as we hear something that's low or loud, silent, maybe the word high, or quiet, or noisy. Those are all words we use to describe things that we hear. Let's talk about things that we touch or things that we can feel. We might feel things that are soft or wet, cold or rough, maybe smooth or hard. What about things that we smell? We describe them as yummy or stinky, maybe smoky or tasty. Maybe it's fresh or fishy. Has your mom ever made fish or made tuna fish? Those things can really, really smell sometimes, right? So I want you to be thinking about all of these different kinds of sensory words, and I'm going to show you. I want you to work in your writer's notebook. Now remember, that's the one that I printed out for you, and it's red, and it's on the writer's workbook, and it's right here. This is the page. It is page 89, and I want you to, the directions say, sensory words describe what you taste, see, feel, hear, and smell. Draw lines to connect the sensory words to the sense or senses they describe. So these are the words. You'll need help with the words if you need them. But this is the word sweet. So which one of these sentences would you draw a line to? It would probably be to taste, where that mouth is. So let me just make this a little smaller so you can see it. So you would just draw a line from sweet to taste. And then you just go through these, and then you just follow those directions for that. And that'll get you in the habit of making, using sensory words. Now, we're going to go on. Part of, I told you, what we will be working on was collaborating, working together to create one creative writing that we'll all participate in. And since we're not all together in one classroom, it's going to be a little tricky. So I need your help. Do you know how everybody there's 5 of us, and there's 5 parts to a story, right? There's 5 things that we need for a story. Every story has characters, every story has a setting, and every story has the main events in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So here is your assignment. I need one of you will pick who the characters are, where the setting is, where and when, and then what happens at the beginning, what happens in the middle, and what happens at the end. So before we do that, though, I just want to get your creative juices flowing. So when we have a creative writing thing, we have to make something up. This is something that's not true, or a story that's not true. Just like we read in Mr. Hollis and his dad when they flew from the moon to the earth, that was not a true story. So we are going to go to a new place. So I want you guys to be thinking out of a new place that we could go, where we would write about. I want you to think about where our story, where we might go, when it will happen, and where it will take place. And then I'll need someone to pick 2 or 3 characters. So here's what I'd like to do. I would like for, let's have Liam. If you could, Liam, I would like for you to decide on a few characters. Maybe they're real, maybe they're made up, but a character, again, is a person, an animal, or a creature, and you can make that up. And just 2 or 3 characters in this made-up story that we're going to do. And then Elena, I would like for you to work on the setting. So Elena, where do you want this to take place? When do you want it to take place? Is it, maybe we could talk about going somewhere we haven't been before, like an amusement park, or maybe a different state or a different country, or maybe even out of this world. And then we're going to be talking about, I'll let Isabella, maybe you can work on what happens in the beginning, and then we'll have Luke, you can work on what happens in the middle of the story, and then who? Ellie. I thought I had her doing the beginning. And then Ellie, you can work on what happens at the end. So again, Isabella, Luke, and then Ellie for the order of the story, beginning, middle, end. So be thinking about that, and when we meet up tomorrow morning, we'll talk about what you decided, who those characters are, and then we'll begin creating our story. So, so that's it for today. Don't forget to do your homework on, or your classwork on using your senses, right? Here. Ta-da, sorry. You can do that, and then we'll be all set. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.